Welcome to the journey of growth podcast, episode 35. I'm ThE, the host of this event, which was created so myself and others can share perspective on it in hopes that one another's journeys will be relatable, establishes awareness, and inspires listeners to adopt and then maintain such behavior. The definition of growth is the process of developing new skills, attitudes, actions, or reactions that can have a beneficial impact on your life and increases your overall well being. If you would like to be a guest on the show, you're invited to do so by reaching out to me on Instagram or Facebook, and I will respond to you at the when there's an opportunity, and hopefully you can share how you're growing as an individual as I share how I am growing as an individual on a upcoming episode. Today I have a new guest, and I appreciate his willingness to go into this unknown experience with me, and hopefully he will enjoy it as well. His name is Mr. Aaron Fletcher. Hello, Aaron. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me. This is a new one for me. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm glad to be here.
Yes, I'm glad you're here as well. What can you tell me about yourself?
Um, well, I am a I'm a Chicago born and raised, now LA. I won't say native transplant. I work in IT, and I, for lack of better words, make funny videos on the internet.
That's cool. I'm glad you enjoy being a creative and making funny content, which does take effort and it is a process. And we will discuss further about your creativity. My next question for you is how are you? Well, what is your concept on, or what is your perspective on the concept of growth?
Uh, I would have to say everything. Two things: everything matters, and growth is incremental, not exponential. Um, and the reason I say that is because most days with me, sometimes I can get no followers, to sometimes I can get 30 followers, to sometimes I could get zero. I could get 300 views. The next day I could get 10,000 views. And the thing about that is everything matters at the end of the day. If it's a drop in the bucket, that's still a drop you didn't have yesterday. Okay. And what I think and we live in such a time right now where people want quick, fast, in the hurry. They want everything now. They want now. They want instant gratification when people don't, when in reality, people need to understand that it's a process, and you got to trust the process. You got to get to, in order to get to where you're going, it's gonna take some time. Like, I have a friend who's been doing content for over like 10 years and is just now getting to where it is. Like, it takes time.
Yes, I can relate to you. This is my 35th episode. And when I first started the podcast, I probably had 0 to 1 viewers total. But now, on average, I have about 20, which I appreciate. And it seems that the people who demonstrate consistency and tune in seem to relate to the content that I am providing. And that is something that I appreciate. And it seems to also suggest that it is of resource to them as well. What I want to ask you is a question regarding the your initial statement, which you said, I think you said growth is incremental and not exponential. For those who are unaware, I would imagine most probably know what incremental means, but what is what's the from your perspective, what is the definition of exponential?
Exponential in this context would most likely be massive growth.
Hmm.
So one might think of overnight success, when in reality that only happens once every blue moon. Um, some like you It's in order to obtain what you want, you're not going you have to go in expecting it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get you're not going to go from a one follower to a million followers overnight. You're not going to go from making 12 songs a week that only get 1,000 listens to one song that propel you into stardom.
Hmm.
That's It's possible, it's not obtainable, but it can be obtainable with a little time. You just got to keep it going. That's why it's incremental. So it's one here. If you can retain that one, that means you could get two. If you could retain those three, that means you could get six, and so on and so forth. It's incremental.
Yes, I agree. It does seem like growth is an incremental process, one step at a time, one stepping stone at a time, and the stepping stones seem to not be guaranteed as well. So when attracting an opportunity, it's, it seems for me that it is important to engage in that, be it you have one person who is willing to listen to what you have to say and also express their appreciation for that. I don't overlook and take for granted those people who relate to the podcast and demonstrate or share it with me how the conversations are inspirational to them. And that one can be a reflection of myself and also can indicate that th- there's other people out there who have the same type of mindset and maturity. And those are the individuals I'm hoping to attract to my content ultimately anyway. My next question is, how are you currently growing?
There's multiple with the avenue that I want to grow. Um, it is a lot of times about consistency. Now, granted, you may not see a funny video from me every day, but you'll see something from me. If not a live stream, you'll usually catch me in like different discords with different people, different communities. Um, but I'm always trying to put myself out there. I always try to network with people. I always try to put something out that would make people just make take people's minds off of the daily grind, in
Mhm.
a sense. Um, but yeah, that primarily, it's always trying to find new ways to be funny, in a sense. get content out there, come up with new jokes, even write stuff on the side, like write write sketches, long form sketches, write short form sketches, quick jokes, stuff like that.
Hmm. So you're growing based on your initiatives in terms of presenting new content or new videos,
Yeah,
and also writing scripts that are supporting of that content.
yeah.
Yes.
Trying to hone my craft a little bit.
Yes. And for me personally, when it comes to engagements, be it physical activities, work related, relational, I assess my growth based on how I am enjoying the process of engaging in the engagement. What what do you enjoy about creating skits?
Just creating them. Honestly, I think my skits are hilarious. Now the next person might not think they're funny. They might think they might think I'm better than they might think I'm worse than the most unfunny stand-up comedian ever. But they're funny to me. And that's all that matters to me. Like that's just the truth. And if I were to stop today, I no, I wouldn't lose anything,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just an outlet. Like I wouldn't be as creative. I wouldn't come up with as many jokes, and like it puts my mind in the space to like, okay, maybe I can make this funny. Maybe I can do this of myself. Maybe, and it really just helps me with taking stuff off my mental. Like who wants to think about the negativity of the day all day every day? No, make fun of something or some like make fun of your coffee. Like bring it to life and say, "Why are you drinking me?" or something like that. Just yeah, I don't know, just trying to find an escape.
Yeah. What what about the process in terms of the from A to Z? Like what what in the process do you enjoy when it comes to like what I'm trying to think of a proper word to say. What of the process in making the videos are you do you enjoy?
The uh honestly, when the moment when I finally get it right,
Hmm.
there's something about when I get it right and it's hitting on all cylinders.
Hmm.
I just love it. Like there's videos where I think about the joke all day and I'm like, oh man, how am I gonna do this? And then I try set like 7 different ways, and then I gotta record this part, this part, this part, and make sure they line up. And then when I finally get it to line up, I got all the voice tracks done, I got all the sounds done, and I finally play it and it looks so good to me. It's nothing like that. It's no experience not like that. And then the next day, if it does good, it does good. And I'm like, well, would you look at that?
Hmm. Now I'm glad you elaborated because if for me like if you enjoy the the process of writing the skits and seeing the results and it's pleasing to yourself, that's what indicates to me that you're on the right path of growing yourself creatively, because it's possible that someone outside of yourself may not relate and appreciate what you do, but if you enjoy it, then it's possible that you may experience the reflections of your pleasure, which would be in the form of someone else appreciating it based on how they relate to what you're doing. Is that does that
Yeah,
make sense?
like you get joy out of the joy somebody finds out of your content in a
Hmm.
sense. Um, I get that totally. I get like nothing. Some of the stuff that I enjoy is like getting the likes, and I know you, and I know on social media, you don't usually do stuff for the satisfaction of other people, because there people one thing I know, people will sometimes disappoint you.
Yeah.
Sometimes your video won't do good. But when you just seeing those same people consistently come back, like the same posts, be like, this is hilarious. I was just thinking about this the other day. I never thought about this. It does something. It gives you a sense of like, okay, I can get this done. Okay,
Mhm.
I can make this happen. Stuff like that.
And from my perspective, a like at its meta would be a reflection of your initiation, which is the uploading of your video to a social media platform. So, and so if ever there is a time that you feel disappointed that you're not getting likes, that may not be an indication that you're doing something wrong. Because when I think about reflections or echoes, they are not seemingly guaranteed. You can you can call out into a valley, but there is no guarantee that you will experience an echo as a result of you calling out into that valley. But it's more of being aware of what your intention was to call out into the valley in the first place. Are you intending to do it so that you can better yourself? Are you doing it because you're expecting an echo? If you're expecting the echo, then you may be disappointed. Right. But um, what I also appreciate and what you said earlier is that, and I and what I also appreciate about skits in general is the ability for a creative to alchemize experiences that can be considered chaotic and detrimental, and turn those experiences into something comedic, which for me suggests that the creator is not wanting to focus on the negative and more so trying to hopefully see a silver lining in this experience that they have endured. And I do appreciate that when it comes to people who are willing to create something that is new and comedic. And I mentioned to you before the start of the podcast, I did watch some of your reels and posts on Instagram, and they were funny to me.
Thank you.
Specifically the one where you it was the caption said point of view of a traveler, where you were
Yeah.
like, and so what inspired that particular reel?
So I have a friend, and one thing he loves to do, he loves to travel.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, look, if I could travel everywhere, I would. And he's always like, if I mention right now, I say, yo, I got a little money, where can I go? You trying to go to Houston? You trying to go to Mexico? What's the word? Like, hold on. It's a couple bucks. It's not like a band. Let's chill here. But he, I thought about it one day. I was like, man, people like him always traveling. He was like, yeah, I just landed, but I'm getting ready to go to another flight. Not even 2 days from now. I was like, dang. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna make a skit about that. And I was like, dang, people who travel like that, they just forget everything. Like the only thing that matters is they passport. They gotta fill up that passport. Um, and I was like, yep, that's the joke right there. So I sat there in my parents' home. I said, yo, come to you just landed? Yeah. And I did the skit, and I put it out, and I was happy with how it was, believe it or not.
Mhm.
But the version on Instagram actually is the sound got corrupted. That's why it sounds so staticky like that.
Oh,
So I put the same version on TikTok, and you can actually hear what I'm saying.
yeah.
Uh, and it was a whole conversation. It was like, yeah, bro, you gotta see, you worrying about the wrong stuff. You need to fill up that passport instead of worrying about that job. Huh? Wait a minute. You worried. passports and jobs are two. I need one to get the other one. What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the joke.
Yeah. I'm glad you provided context on it. That was funny. It's like you actually know somebody who behaves that way.
Oh yeah.
And regarding like the voiceover, I thought you had intentionally made it like not distinguishable, like similar to like a scene from Charlie Brown where
Oh yeah.
the
The
teacher was
womp, womp,
talking and you
womp, womp.
yeah, you didn't understand what they were saying. The point was is like, it doesn't really matter what your friend was saying. What you were saying was more important. Like, hey, you need to be like trying to like calm down. You got kids.
Yeah,
You
you
got
got
a
a whole
family.
family. Why are you trying to go to Sri Lanka? What?
Yeah, I thought that was funny. What's another skit that was based off of real life experience that you've also got some
The
positive reactions from?
let me see. So I at one point in time I was posting a video every day.
Hmm.
Um and one that I got a lot of good reception.
Hmm.
Um so there is a few. There one that I actually laughed at was a video about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. One thing about me and my brother, we love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to this day.
Mm.
Um, so much that I was like, "Yo, I gotta go make a skit about one." Like, and it was you're a delivery driver in New York delivering to a strange with strange instructions, and it starts out like, "Okay, Fifth and Main, I get a call. Hi, put your pizza's here," and it goes, "Perfect, just leave it in the street." What? What are you talking about? Yeah, just leave it in the street. It'll be all right. So I'm like, okay. So I take the pizza and I leave it in the street and I turn around. I say, oh man, I gotta make sure I get it. Where did it just go? It was just here. And the pizza box is just gone. Like, I
Hmm.
don't know what happened to it. It got spirited away somehow. I'm like, what just happened to it? I don't know where it went. And so all you hear is like you hear me talking like, oh man, like this is how I'm gonna get fired now, and blase, 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 and real faintly in the background you just hear cowabunga, and it just ends right there, and that's based off of just me and my brother's love for just the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
like the reason I love them right now is because my brother.
yeah. I relate to what you said. I'm a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan myself. I actually went to go see the re-release of it a couple of weeks ago
Oh wow.
because this year is the 35th anniversary of the first live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out in 1990, which I was 8 years old at the time of its release, and I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid. So to watch it again as an adult, and and it was a totally different experience. The nuances and the references that was from the time culturally, I picked up on now. And I would say the quality was still good in terms of just the cinematography and the acting.
Oh yeah, it was.
So
I actually remember that movie. That movie, I think we had that movie on VHS. That movie, I think I watched that movie at least like once a week.
wow. Yeah, I had it on VHS too. I wish I would have bought a second one and not opened it. It probably worth some money right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you attend college?
yeah. I went to. I got a bachelor's in network communications management.
Hmm.
That's big IT talk. Yeah,
Okay, and where'd you attend college?
I went to DeVry University in Chicago.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with DeVry. It was very popular in the '90s, early 2000s.
Mhm.
How was your experience there?
Uh, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm gonna just tell you the truth. It was not good. It was not good at all. So here's a little lore about me. I have a long track history with jobs, like a long track history with jobs. Um, and I graduated in 2018
Hmm.
with my bachelor's.
Hmm.
Now, I was promised, oh, we'll help you find a job. You'll get your first IT job 1 year after graduating. I'm like, shoot, okay, 1 year. Okay, I can stack my skills and work a little job and start, and I don't have to worry about my student loans for like a couple months. I can pull this off. 4 years later, I got my first IT job. 4 years. And in between those 4 years, I worked at a grocery store and a YMCA. And and I was an intern for an IT company. And I'm gonna tell you, the YMCA was something else. I have stories, like plenty of stories. But uh I was paying, it turns out I was paying full university price
Hmm.
for not even a full university. Like and it was it was daunting because there was times where like I was like, oh, I can't do this. Like I gotta work, go home, work again. I'm getting paid pennies on the dollar. I get spit up on. I get stuff thrown at me. I almost get shot daily. Well, not daily. That's just me being dramatic. But I almost get shot just for this paycheck, just so I can send a bunch of it to my student loan, so I don't have to worry about it. And then I got it was just like it got to a point where okay, and then somebody got sued, and then I ended up with a free degree and some money back in my pocket. So I was like,
Oh
hey
wow.
now, no student loans, I'll take it.
How much did you pay for tuition? How much was it?
uh Altogether it was around 23,000, 24,000.
You got all that back? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They were, and what was it? They were. It was a big thing. Like they had to shut down the campus that I went to. Yeah, it was a thing. Like teachers left, and it like when I say the amount of people that were like, "Yo, we can't." Like they complained, and I was telling my friends like, "Yo, I hate this so much," and they were like, "You get what you put out of it," and this is true. You get what you put out of it, but when you're wronged and you're still struggling, and they're not helping you, and then they just leave you high and dry. Like, okay, you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. Give me my money back.
mm.
They gave me my money back. I like it was such a euphoric experience. Like me and my friend were texting because we were in college together. Me and my friend were texting. He said, "Yo, check your email." I checked my email. It says your student loans have been forgiven. It was I actually like in my house, like I think I was in the car. I screamed at the top of my lungs. It was such a guttural scream. I'm pretty sure I scared the person next to me, but I didn't care. I sent it to my parents. They were like, "Oh my gosh, this is great!" I like all I could do was scream. It was it was such a euphoric feeling. Like I pray that anybody who can get their student loans forgiven gets their student loans forgiven. That is the feeling. Like that is such a worthy feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody should experience that once. Everybody should experience that joy once.
That's funny. I'm glad you were able to get your money back.
Thank you,
But I,
man.
ho- I hope you didn't blow it either.
Oh no, 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 no.
Okay, okay. What inspired you to? Well, before I ask that question, thank everybody for tuning in. If y'all would like to comment, uh, ask questions, or make a comment, we'll try to address those in the group chat. I mean, not in the group chat, in the live chat, and we'll try to answer them when there's an opportunity. But what inspires you to become a IT information technology professional?
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do like I wanted to be a police officer. I want to be a doctor. I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm gonna be honest. My mom made the decision for me. She was like, "Look, you're gonna go here." I was like, "Huh? I don't want to do that. You're gonna go here." But I don't want to. Too bad. You're gonna go here. And I just stuck with it. And I I've learned like I was always good with tech. It
Mm,
wasn't my first choice, but I didn't have a choice, so it was gonna be my first choice.
mm-hmm.
It was yeah, and I stuck with it. I still stick with it. Do I look for other opportunities to branch out outside of tech? Absolutely, because I I believe every job has a dead end job if you get too comfortable,
Mm.
and you just got like we're talking about. You got to have that incremental growth. And then once you get that incremental growth and you can see yourself doing stuff, you gain skills. Yeah. But yeah, it's always about learning a bit more. It's about what you know. It's about who you know and what you know. It's never about the one of just one of them. It's always about both of them. So I'm just trying to grow that way as far as getting in IT and yeah, just gotta do what I gotta do to do what I love eventually.
You mentioned that you always was good at tech. What would you mean by that?
So fun fact about what I'm talking to you on now is a computer that I built. I used to have a computer company back in Chicago where I built custom PCs for people.
Wow, that's amazing. How
Thank you.
did you how did you discover how to build PCs?
It's when I tell people it's not hard, they're like, "Oh, no, you're lying." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. It's not hard. It's literally adult Legos." They look at me like I'm crazy, like you're lying. It's super hard.
Mm,
Um, in reality, it like I said, it's adult Legos. It's very therapeutic. It's very like plug this in here, slap this here, screw this in. It's done.
mm,
Um, it doesn't, and it's not hard if you know what you're going into. If you,
mhm.
you know what you're getting into, it gets hard when you want more. And I tell people this all the time. It's a slippery slope. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm fine with this, and next thing you know, you spent 2 bands on a piece of, on a car, and you're like, yeah, man, I can justify this. I can justify this, and you're eating ramen for 2 weeks. Okay, like it's it. But at the end of the day, it was something I was passionate about, and so that was like my inspiration. That caused me to look more into it. That caused me to want to stay like ahead of it. Like you know how it is. You like something, you fixate on it. So
Yeah. When I think, and then when I reflect on your statement of growth being incremental, it would seem that when building a computer, it is an incremental process, given the massive variety, the massive quantity of components that it takes to like assemble and put together. It is it an incremental process?
uh not really.
Mm,
It's very straightforward. There's about 8 pieces to a computer.
mhm,
Um it gets incremental when you want to upgrade it. I'll tell you that much.
mhm,
Uh because you'll be like, oh, I just need one piece, and then you walk out with 3 pieces, and you're like, dang, I didn't even want these pieces, and you're like, dang, that looks cool, and it is incremental. It's you go in, oh, I just need this one thing. You come out with a whole new computer, and you're like, how did I get here? How did I get here? And then you do it all again next year. You don't really do it again next year. They last way longer than just 1 year, but it's something like that.
What can you tell me about your computer company?
It was called Battlestar Customs. It's kind of on the back burner right now, but Primarily, it was a build to service computer company. It was, you came to me, we talked it out, I gave you your options, you tell me your budget, we built something that you would like.
Mhm.
Now, most people were like, "Oh, I want a PC for," and I tell them like, it's stuff I would always tell. I tell them the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. If you put in $300, you're gonna get $300 worth of PC. You're not gonna like it. If you put in, I had a person put in $3,000. They got a $3,000 PC that they use to this day. Like it that their PC. And here's how you know, I was so proud of this PC. I was like, man, I kind of want this for myself. But I was like, you know what? No. Whatever you put into, I tell people, whatever you put into it is what you're gonna get out. And it's a slippery slope. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm so proud of this. And then you're like, oh man, maybe I should get this too. Maybe I should upgrade my monitor. Um, and I always tell them it's an investment. And most people I tell about that, they're like, oh man, I'm only just gonna use it for this, that, and the other. Nah, I'm like, you and me both know you're gonna use it for more than that. I like everybody I built a PC for. They use it every day,
Hmm.
every day. It's not a time where they don't use it more than 5 times a week. They're literally on it every day.
Mhm. What I was gonna ask you, going back to DeVry, and you had said
Mhm.
that you graduated, and it took 4 years for you to get a job in that industry. Would you theorize you were not able to get an opportunity to work in that industry because of the technology being still like in its infancy and the abundance of jobs were not available back then?
Um, I can actually tell you why.
Okay.
It's in IT. It's again about who you know and what you know. I'm fresh out of college, and I've been working at a YMCA for 4 years. No IT experience, nothing at all.
Hmm.
Opposed to somebody who is, let's say I was 21 at the time, somebody who's 27, has worked a customer service job for an IT company where they sell like programs and stuff. They kind of know what they're talking about, and they have a little experience, and they have a reference. Automatically, I'm going to get passed over. Um, so what it's all about, seniority, on top of it's all about like who would be the best investment for them. Um, IT isn't IT very much is a, I won't say dirt and grind, but we very hands on, like tough tough knit crowd.
Hmm.
Um, and not because we have to do we're hard on each other. No, it's just, I say it's the heart, the backbone of the company most of the times, because if you think about it, if there was no IT for most of the things that you have, like if for your phone or anything else, probably would not look good. So it's important that people realize that, in my opinion.
For those who are unaware, with IT, also known as information technology, is what does an information technology professional what is an information technology professional responsible for?
Okay, how much time do you have? No, but let's I'll break it down for you. There's levels to it, right? And I'm so serious. Like level one, two, three. Um, level one, help desk. Oh man, my phone isn't working. Let me call the number. Hello? Hi, this is Help Desk Online. How can I help you? Oh, you're having troubles with this? Here, let me help you with that. Okay, cool. Then there's level 2. Hi, this is Help Desk Online. Oh, you're having trouble on the back end of your application? Sure. Let me escalate you. And so it goes from helping a person to helping a, like, you go from helping one person, incrementally going up to helping multiple people, incrementally to helping a whole organization.
Mhm.
So really, with like level one like help desk, it's very customer facing. Like stuff like we're doing right now. Like if you were like, "Oh, my computer's not working," I would direct you on how to fix it. Um, Level 2, if there is an issue with, like, let's say you can't access a program, or you're you're struggling to like use a program as far as like your computer, level 2s would be able to help you. Level 3s, they're like, okay, we have to watch your access and make sure you're not messing with anything. We have to make sure that we're working on databases and code and frameworks. That's like level 3, level 4 stuff. And then up there's stuff beyond that, like architecture and coding and stuff like that. Like it's not just a singular line, it's
Mhm.
a branch. Well, it's a tree, and the tree is massive, and you don't know where you're going to end up, but you just know, hey, I'm on the tree.
That's funny. What level are you in terms of?
I've done everything from level 1 to level 3.
Mhm.
Um, as far as like level 4, I want to. I don't. That's too much responsibility for me right now. Now, granted, if they were like, "Hey, we'll throw 200 bands at you," what? Give me a laptop. I'll get it done. But yeah, right now, I've done everything from level 1 to level 3, and
Yeah.
I'm back at level 1.
Okay. Okay. And why did you descend down to level one?
But it's just a lot of lore. I got demoted. Well, no, I didn't get demoted. No, I got let go,
Yeah.
and then you kind of just got to start from the bottom rung, unfortunately.
Mhm. Okay. Do you care to say why you got demoted
Not Oh, I didn't get demoted. I got let go.
or you got let go?
Yeah,
Okay.
just corporate restructuring is what they called it.
Okay. And it seems like when it comes to the information technology industry, it is a volatile industry. When we think about startup companies and tech
Hmm.
companies and layoffs, is is it possible to um is it your brother had a comment. I want to see what he see what your reaction is. He said he would camp out for hours for graphics cards. What is a graphics card?
So actually, I can show you. A graphics card or a graphics processing unit is a basic. It's this. This is a graphics processing unit,
Hmm.
and all what it does is it transmits the signals from your other PC components, your CPU, your RAM. It makes like a bunch of codes into the visuals you see on your monitor.
Okay.
So everything has if it has a monitor and a computer or a main processing unit, it essentially has a graphics card. Its main objective is to make sure you can see what you're doing.
Okay.
And I would camp out for these cards because they were limited. So this is like in the height of COVID, and I was I was like, yo, people are paying big money for these things.
Yeah.
I need to make sure I can get some for my business. So there was times where I'd I was in the middle of winter, the middle of Chicago winter. And if you
Wow.
don't know about Chicago winter, it's horrible. It was snowing, but it was the middle of Chicago winter. I had sleeping bags, I had my money ready, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. And I stayed up for like 12 hours. I remember one time I got there at like 10 at night,
Yeah.
stayed there until like 11, 10, like 12 hours. So 10 to 10, 10 at
Yeah.
10 p.m. to 10 a.m.
Yeah.
just for them to be, there are no graphics cards. Go
Ooh.
home.
Ooh.
None. Go away. I was
Oh
like,
man.
that was that was, and at that moment, there's a statement I make. I got so mad I could throw up. Like, like I hope no one ever gets that mad, but I got that mad. Like I was with my friend, and he was like, "It's okay. Let's just go get breakfast, dog. Let's just go get breakfast." He's like, so I was like, "All right, yeah, bro. Let's just go, bro." And so I was so mad. I didn't get home till like what? I didn't get home till like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I had to do it again the next week. But yeah, that was I did score some graphics cards. I did make some sales, and it was, and it was an experience that I would do again, just hopefully not in the middle of winter.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the process of being out there for 12 hours?
Yeah, I met some cool people, made some friends. It was a journey. It was a stationary journey, but it was a journey nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to make some friends who seemingly have the similar interests as yourself. What 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 store were you
It was
camped out in front of?
It's called Micro Center. It's not everywhere, but it's a relatively popular store. It's one of the super centers for all like computer pieces, like computer stores. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have micro centers out here on the West Coast. That seems like that might be in the Midwest, maybe East Coast as well.
They have them. They have two stores on the West Coast.
Okay. Is there
Yeah.
one down in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's one in Los Angeles, and I know they're putting one in Santa Clarita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why are graphics cards compared to other components of a computer so valuable to the point that you're willing to sit outside for 12 hours for them?
So, their primary. So think of a graphics card as a little computer, right?
Hmm.
Except it only has one main goal, right? So what you can do is you can do something called flashing it. And
Hmm.
what this does, it changes the primary function to make it do whatever you want. What some people would do is they would buy, when I say they would buy the stock of the entire store of Micro Center, they would buy all of them, and they would use like different bots to do it. They would then take these graphics cards and resell them on the market, knowing that people would buy them. So they would sell them for like double the price, triple the price.
Hmm.
And what would happen is they would sell these cards, make their profit, do it again over and over again, and then it would mess up it would mess up everybody who needs one or who wants one. But then on top of that, what you can do is you can flash them to make Bitcoin. So you would flash the onboard software of the graphics card to mine Bitcoin for you. And what it would essentially do, what mining Bitcoin is, it was essentially, think of it like solving an equation. These cards would solve equations night and day,
Mm.
no breaks, no turning off, no like power cycling, nothing. It was just straight ones and zeros, zeros and ones and zeros.
Hmm.
And what happens is they gather heat, and it can mess up the connections between the pieces, and then it could burn up and die.
Mm.
So these people, and all they would do this for a third of a Bitcoin. And like, I'm not making money, and I can't play my games because you want to burn up graphics cards for not even a full Bitcoin. Please release me from this prison. But yeah, it like primarily they're used for just as like Bitcoin farms. And Bitcoin, fun fact, that's a volatile market. Like it's not, you're gonna, you if you're not doing it right, you're gonna spend more money than making money, and that's just the nature of it.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
valuable information right there.
yeah.
And regarding Bitcoin, were you aware of the Bitcoin wave before most people were talking about it?
Um, there was always people talking about it. Like we had, once you understand that there's, even though you don't hear about it, does not mean it's not talked about.
Yeah,
Bitcoin has been around since what, early 2000s, 2003.
yeah.
Like it just didn't come to the public eye until people started like, oh, NFTs, oh, crypto, oh, Bitcoin, oh, I can make money doing this. I don't have to go to work. I can just make money at home and make thousands of dollars, and I can do rug pulls and all this other stuff. It stuff like that, and that's what, around like 2020. That's when it became big, and I like, you're aware, once you find out why you can't do something and you become aware of it, you can tell people about it. And so I would go like, why are all the graphics cards not in stock? What's happening? I find out people are using them to make Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And I'm like, you suck. Jump on your head. Uh, but yeah, just at that point I could tell, okay, this is why this is happening. This is how I can go about it. Because I gotta make my profit somehow. I gotta make sure I can get this stuff out to people somehow. So that's how I got to the whole I gotta camp out for graphics card solution.
Mm. So you were,
Um,
so were you out? So it seemed like you were out there cultivating these graphic cards and serving them to people so that they could use them to buy Bitcoin. Is that what it was?
no, I fun fact, I never sold to anyone who would use them for Bitcoin.
Okay.
If I listen, if you buy a computer from me and I find out you're making Bitcoin, we gotta scrap. I'm so serious. We gotta scrap. But yeah, it was all for just like gaming or editing or stuff like that, you know?
Okay. Were you able to buy some Bitcoin when it was like a fraction of a dollar or less?
You know, I was like 4, so by that time, so I could do anything.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I didn't realize. I didn't know how what your age was. Okay,
Yeah.
it's probably for the best that you didn't dabble in that anyway.
Yeah. It probably should have did early, but yeah, it's you know, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So okay, and I think you had said like when you were in Chicago, there were times when you had to seemingly duck and dodge bullets. What where in Chicago in terms of like the region were you in? Where'd you grow up in Chicago?
So I grew up on the edge of the city. So
Mm-hmm.
for like what, 18 years? No. Yeah, like 18 years. I would usually go from the southwest side of Chicago, the
Mm-hmm.
part where nobody wants to claim because it's between cities. Um, but I would go from the southwest side of Chicago to the north side of Chicago for school. Um, and then I would go on the south side for work when I turned 19. Well, 18. Was it
Mm-hmm.
18 or 19? One of those ages when I was a legal adult.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I would go out to the south side for work. And around this time, this is when I graduated and all this other stuff. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'm just out here. We're going to, I'm going to work at this YMCA on the south side of Chicago. Fun fact, this YMCA was down the street from this area called Parkway Gardens,
Mm-hmm.
better known as O Block. Yeah. So I worked down the street from the synonymous place where Chief Keef, Lil Durk, King Von, all these famous gangster rappers grew up in. Um, never came across them, but you know, the the influence was there. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So it was in that area that I did a lot. I have a lot of stories, and I was involved with the community, if you will.
Yeah. And at the time, how violent was that area when you were going to work there?
It wasn't violent, and it wasn't everyday violence, but it was just a bunch of people living in their situation, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Hmm.
Uh, there was gangs. There
Hmm.
was there was like there was all this stuff, right? You had your gangs, you had your gun violence, your you had your fair share of issues, but there was also a lot. I'm thankful because we were a place where we kind of shielded a lot of people from that, especially the children.
Hmm.
Like kids would come there for like after school. Kids would go there for like swim classes. Parents felt comfortable bringing their kids there and leaving them there that they could play basketball. They didn't have to deal with their like their kids being in the street. We would
Hmm.
take random kids off the street, which was a mistake for some kids, but that's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, it was we were a safe haven, and I'm glad to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Other times I wasn't glad to be a part of that. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I helped. I contributed.
And contributed. And the reason why I asked you about the crime and violence during that time that you were working in that area is because you it would seem that it would take a degree of boldness and courageousness to willingly go to this area that is notorious for crime today. So that in itself is something to be admired in yourself because it was a choice. You didn't have to go there, and there seemingly was an awareness that potential outcomes could have happened. But I'm glad, that could have been detrimental to yourself, but I'm glad that you were able to go there and help out the community and avoid situations that could have, been life threatening. So,
Let me just say this. No, I had to go there. Like I didn't have a job, so it was just like it was first come first serve. Whoever wanted me got me at that point. So, but yeah, I made I made the best of it while I was there.
uh-huh. And so in addition to working to the YMCA, were you also contributing to the community in other ways?
Um, that was the best way. In high school, I did a lot of volunteering with the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I did stuff with my church, community outreach, stuff like that. But that was the biggest thing for me.
Mm-hmm. What can you tell me about your first IT job that you finally were able to be offered?
4 years later, it was 4 years. It was my last day. I remember, I was ecstatic. I was like, "Look, I'll be out it." I put my 2 weeks in. It's the end of my 2 weeks. It was just I was leaving just as there was a whole scandal with some man, and I was like, you know what? I ain't even gonna be here for this. Y'all got to deal with this one. I can't do anything about it. Um, I just got there, and I was working for this third party health insurance company called GoHealth, and I met a lot of good people there. Still in contact with a lot of them to this day. Uh, Met a lot of good people there. I met some of my friend got me the job. He got it because he knew somebody, or he got the job because he was able to like show them and meet with like one of the managers. Got me the job, showed me the ropes of how to do stuff, and I got in. I was fine. I was so happy because it was like I'm making double what I was making over at the YMCA, and I don't have to risk my life every day.
Was this in a safer area of Chicago where you
Yeah,
were?
it was downtown, like right next to the train stop, so I could just hop on the train. I was at work.
Okay. You said this was a health insurance company?
Yeah, yeah, it was third party health insurance.
Okay. That's interesting. Um, and then, so you lived in Chicago for the majority of your life. Then you decided to transition into moving to Los Angeles with some of your siblings. What can you tell me about Los Angeles from your perspective?
Uh, it's you have to be ready for anything. That's all I can say about it. Like
Mm,
it's the Wild West out here sometimes. I'll never forget the first day I got here. The first day I was going to family. I think I was going to Dollar General,
mm-hmm,
and I was like, "Oh, why are there just like 10 chickens in this parking lot?" I would have never saw that in Chicago. Like there are 10 random chickens in this Dollar General parking lot. And I was genuinely confused. Like most people were just walking like it was normal. Like, oh yeah, that's just Bob. What? Why is a chicken named Bob? Why does Bob have his family out here? What's happening? And then I was like, I guess this is normal. And then I turned around, Louisiana fried chicken. Oh, oh, oh no. But from that moment on, I had to realize, oh, this is just kind of the Wild West. Okay.
How's in terms of like the pace of culture and busyness? How would you contrast Chicago busyness to Los Angeles busyness?
Uh, it's the same, except there's too many people in Los Angeles.
Mm,
It's just too many. Like,
mm,
it doesn't make sense that 19 miles, and I'm just saying, like, to put it in perspective, 19 miles from one city from Los Angeles to one end of the city to another end of the city. 19
mm,
miles, right? Compared to 9 miles takes the same amount of time.
mm.
That's ridiculous. Why does it take an hour to drive 9 miles and it also takes an hour to drive 19? That's insane to me.
Yeah, that's very perplexing. You live in area in Los Angeles. I think you had mentioned called Koreatown.
Yeah,
Is that
right downtown. Yeah.
okay? So I'm familiar with Koreatown, and listeners may also be unfamiliar with Koreatown. What can you tell me about Koreatown?
It is it's very interesting, honestly. And I say that because it's not how I would have expected it. Um there is a lot of Korean like shops, restaurants, just a lot of that. But it's actually quite diverse. There's a if you drive like what, maybe if I drive maybe like 5 minutes away from my apartment, I'm like I'm where I'm in a lot of like white and Hispanic neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very like it's very mixing pot type style. It's you're not gonna get just like one. You're not gonna see a predominantly Asian or predominantly like Hispanic or predominantly black, but you're gonna get a mixture of everyone
Mm-hmm.
here,
Mm-hmm.
which shocked me a little bit, honestly.
Yeah, that's insightful, and that's a surprising for me as well because living here in the Bay Area, if you were to go to a Chinatown or a Japantown in San Francisco, it is predominantly of that demographic. So to hear Koreatown is not as advertised, that is pretty interesting, and I'm curious to know when I would imagine initially it was predominantly of Korean American um, residents, but then it seems like probably at a certain point in time they might have migrated out of the area, and then other people came in. So I'm curious to know what caused that change to occur.
Man, I wish I could tell you. I wonder that too. Sometimes.
Hmm. Are you able to how available is parking around where
Not at
you
all.
live?
You have a better chance of hitting the lottery than finding parking.
How many times you have to loop the block to find a park around where you live?
4 minimum.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
I hope you'll be able to find a park tomorrow when you get off of work.
Somebody gonna have to move. Listen, I'm not above not going to work so I can keep my car where it is. I'm not above it.
I know one of my friends has a sister that lives in Los Angeles, but she's currently considering moving to Long Beach, where it is apparently more affordable for her. How open would you be to moving not so close to downtown to a area that could be more affordable? And yeah.
I'm I'm of the mind. I'm more than willing to consider anything if the price is right. And I'm just gonna be honest here. Like I'm not saying like, oh, I'll do something strange for a piece of change. No, but like if you're willing to throw, oh, we need you to move here, but we'll pay you $150,000. When do you need me to move? I live on my car for a couple weeks. What we talking about? But I'm not gonna uproot just everything just to move because all money ain't good money.
Yeah.
And but I mean I'm more than willing to, but I would definitely want to talk to my people, talk to my family, my brother, because there's you just can't in these days you just can't do stuff just willy-nilly. You got to
Mhm.
talk, you got to make sure like if your actions are going to affect anyone,
Yeah.
like if I were to move, I definitely want to like stay with Isaac,
Mhm.
and Isaac's my brother, by the way. Didn't know if anyone knew that, but uh I would definitely like want to like live with him because it's easier living with my brother because then I can go and do stuff and he can stay home and watch the house and he can go and do stuff and he doesn't have to worry about, oh, did I turn the stove off? Oh, did I like just covering each other?
Yeah. And for those who are unaware of what Isaac's profession is, he is a voice actor. And it seems like logistically, him being where you guys are currently residing would be the ideal scenario for him in
Hmm.
terms of job opportunities. Is that why you guys are staying where you are?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't mind as long as there was some place I could lay my head. We could have moved. I don't know. We could have moved in the mountains. Yeah, we could have been mountain people. I was just happy to have a place to lay my head and play my games.
Mm-hmm.
um, but I wasn't picky. The only time I got picky is when I didn't want to drive 2 hours to and from work. That just wasn't advantageous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I, I'm more than willing to move, but I would definitely want to talk to my people. I got to talk with my family.
Mm-hmm. And regarding gaming, you are a gamer.
Yes,
What What do you enjoy about playing video games?
it's an escape. It is. I know most people are like, oh well, I don't know. I played a game here or there. Nah, it's more than just like, oh, I can. I'm playing this game because it's fun and I could just do it for hours. No, it's a way that for me personally, I don't have to think about somebody's computer over in China right now because they're having issues with their internet service provider. No, I could focus on just like, trying to fight a dragon in a tower for like an hour or two,
Yeah.
That's just what it is. That's all it is for me.
And speaking of games, I'm not a gamer, and that's just more so due to me not having an opportunity to do that based on other obligations. But I do appreciate people who play games. I enjoy watching live streams of tournaments, specifically fighting games like Street Fighter or like a Smash Brothers. But I recently read an article about an intriguing game called No Man's Sky. And for those who are listening, I would recommend looking at a YouTube video about this particular game in terms of its development is pretty amazing. So Aaron seems to have more knowledge about this game. For those who are listening, what can you tell people about No Man's Sky?
Oh, so No Man's Sky. There's a lot of there's a lot of talk of No Man's Sky, and it's not more about what's in the game, it's about how the game came to be. No Man's Sky started out as the idea, what if we made the entire universe an open world game? These developers decided we're going to make a universe where, like, we're going to make a universe in a game. And it was fully expandable, it was fully like explorable, you could go to different planets, and it would procedurally generate these planets that you could go to. um and it got so much hype. I mean, it was like, oh, this is groundbreaking, because it was. No one had ever made no one had ever simulated an entire universe that a person could go to. This was the first game of its kind, like, ever. And then when it came out, there was so many issues, there was problems, it took forever to get to stuff, there was like lack of content and stuff like that. And so usually in this space, in times where these games are hyped up to such a degree that the release of them is so underwhelming that you wonder, is it the same game anymore? Like, what were you hyping up? So it then becomes considered what's called a flop. It was a flop in the gaming industry. It was a failure, a complete failure. Nobody wanted to play No Man's Sky. It was like, it wasn't even worth it. But then something happened. The developers learned from their mistakes. They listened to the community. They heard what people said was the problem, and then they said, okay, how can we change this? What can we do to make this better? So then they completely overhauled the game. They made it to where, I'm not too sure exactly what they did. It's been some time, but they did a complete overhaul of the system. They fixed the bugs. They went complete, like, we got, okay, this is a failure, how can we make this a success? And it went from one of the worst releases of a game ever to, oh, this game is amazing. No Man's Sky is literally I think one of the highest selling games of all time, and I can fact check that,
Mhm.
but it's one of, if not one of the most critically acclaimed games out there right now. Um,
Yeah, I think what I read in the article, as a player, as someone who was playing the game, they have the opportunity to visit a large quantity of different planets. Do you know offhand how many planets exist in this game?
no, because it would it's like, it's an endless amount. Like, the system would create the planets as you drove, like, as you went deeper in space.
I think what I read, it was like currently there are 18 quintillion planets to visit in this game, and it would take a person, a gamer, 585 billion years to visit all of the planets that are in this game. I was like, wow, talk about CPU power in developing
Yeah.
something in graphics cards.
Yeah. And you can't do that with Bitcoin, huh?
Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty intriguing article. I just enjoy the idea of somebody putting forth the effort to create something like that and so expansive and vast. Then the time that it would take, the dedication that it would take to create a game that not only do people appreciate, but is just massive in terms of its memory and the data that it
Yeah.
takes. Yeah. We're going to transition on to the next scene of the Journey of Growth episode. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, you're invited to post your comments and we will try to address them when there's an opportunity. And Aaron, I hear like a beeping. I don't know if it's on my
Oh.
end or your end. It sounds like it's going like did it, did
Hmm.
it. Do you
Let me
hear
see.
that?
Yeah, I think I can fix that.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, let me see. I can definitely fix that. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Where is it coming from?
Uh, Discord.
It's like people posting comments,
Yeah,
notifications.
yeah.
Okay,
It,
it's all good.
I turned it off. It's fine.
Yeah, I was just curious. So we're going to intro. So the next segment is called the multiple intelligence theory. So for people who are unaware of what the multiple intelligence theory is, when it comes to intellect, there are two popular theories. One is more popular than the other. The more popular theory suggests that we as individuals have three forms of intellects. And those three forms of intellect would be naturalist slash scientific, mathematic slash logical, and linguistic slash writing. And since these intellects are adopted by the masses, we tend to be tested on these intellects in academic institutions such as high school and being exposed to the SAT exam. And depending on how well you perform on the SAT exam, seems to determine your eligibility to go on to the collegiate level or college level. However, alternatively, there is a theory called the multiple intelligence theory, which was created by a theorist named Howard Gardner, which suggests that in addition to theories that the three intellects that I've mentioned, we as individuals also have six additional intellects. And those intellects are musical, existential, interpersonal, slash people smart, bodily kinesthetic, body smart, intrapersonal, self smart, and spatial. Spatial is the ability to engage with three dimensional objects outside of yourself. So, people who have high degrees of intellect in this particular area would be those who are architects or interior designers. And I present this theory to on the show so that because it's possible that people may have low self-esteem because they do not have high degrees of the three popularized intellects such as math, writing, and science. However, they may have high degrees of other forms of intellect, which could be motivational for them to continue their journey of growth and bettering themselves through practice and repetition. It seems when it comes to intellect, these intellects can be increased through repetition and practice, similar to such as like a basketball player. If you are committed to practicing your jump shot, in theory, you will be a better shooter. And it seems that this method or strategy applies to other forms of intellect. With that being said, what I would like to ask you, Aaron, is of the nine multiple intelligences, which one or more do you sense you have high degrees in? And how would you suggest to others, based on your experience, that they can increase their intellects?
It's interesting because I reviewed this, and I feel like as me personally, I possess a bit of everything, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like everybody possesses a bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just depends on where. So, for example, um, with music, I'm big into rap. I love rap music, and one of the things that I love is finding samples. Um, so for like uh one of my favorite artists, well, one of my favorite producers is The Alchemist. He uses a lot of like 1980s like jazz, and he can tend to use a lot of Japanese city pop and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um Naturalists, knowing like reading nature and stuff. You could take an interest in that. Like I feel like my mother grew up was a has a green thumb. So I was always around like plants and stuff and ferns and different types of like Swiss chard and like all types of vegetables and stuff growing up. Spatial. Funny enough, I feel like as a gamer, spatial, interpersonal linguistics, um, and logical slash mathematical, they all kind of fall in the same thing
Mm-hmm.
because you got to communicate with your team. That like just communication skills and making friends and understanding, okay, this is what you're good at, this is what I'm good at, this is what that person's good at, this is what that person's good at, okay, we got to make this work as a team. um that kind of that falls into a lot of what as a gamer you tend to do. um Body kinesthetics, that is in my job. I have to do a lot of heavy lifting. Like I have to know my body. Like, oh, I get back pains if I sleep wrong, and I have a bad back, or just like, oh, my neck hurts. You got to be aware of that stuff. You got to know why that stuff happens.
Yeah.
If you're deadlifting 400 pounds, of course you're going to be sore the next day. If you were ego lifting in the gym, of course you're going to be sore. Um, and I also feel that falls into the intrapersonal, because you
Mm-hmm.
got to understand yourself. Like I automatically know, just because I can lift it doesn't mean I should, and just because I'm willing to do it doesn't mean I'm happy about doing it. Of course I'm gonna want to help you. It's just how I am. It's how I grew up. I know myself. um and existential, I mean, most people don't like thinking about that stuff. I understand, but like, why do we live? What do we live for? Who do we live for? Do we live for ourselves? Do we live for our God? For God? Do we live for the world? I can't tell you who you live for, and I can't tell you why we die. Oh, I can tell you why we die, because our body gives out, and we're not meant to live forever. We're supposed to die. That's a part of the life cycle. That's
Yeah.
just how it is. But I can't make your reason up for you. All I can do is know my reason. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. Um as far as answering the second part, how can you be better at the other parts the nine intelligence types? I feel like you need to understand it really comes to that intrapersonal. If you want to get better at it, you have to work at it. Like, again, it's incremental. You can get better at anything if you put the time in. You can be better at musical talents if you pick up an instrument, or you can be better if you listen to it. You can work on your mathematical skills if you understand, okay, maybe it's money. maybe it's trajectory, maybe it's addition, subtraction, whatever. You can get better at it if you just put the time in. You need to
Mhm.
understand yourself first. You need to understand your situation and where you start, and you need to understand what you need to do. Um, it's funny. There's a popular game out called Marvel Rivals. It's a very popular game right now, and I used to think, oh, I'm amazing at this game. I'm a dog at the game. Blah 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 blah. And then I would always lose. And then it dawned on me. Oh no, I suck at the game. I'm horrible. I'm actually garbage. But it then dawned on me, okay, if I'm garbage at the game, it's fine being garbage at a game. It's fine being bad at something. It's bad to stay bad at something.
Mm.
So, how do you get better? That's what you need to understand. It's not if you want to focus on just getting your body right. Okay, that's a lot of intrapersonal and body kinesthetics. If you want to get better at interpersonal relationships, you got to actually step out there. You got to get to know people. You got to network. Linguistics, read a book. Most Americans read at a 6th grade level. Read a book. Open a book. I can't stress that enough. Do your research. Google stuff.
Yeah.
Did I say read a book? Read a book. And I'm speaking to myself there. But spatial, visualizing the world. I know a lot of neurodivergent people can visualize the world and interact with the world in 3D shapes, and a lot of people are like, well, why would I need to do that? And I challenge you right now. If you call yourself a creative, you can automatically you're doing a lot of spatial intelligence right now. Okay, and I'm not going to say this is popular with women, but this is popular with people who are very specific about their space. Let's say that. If you can tell me how your bedroom is set up, if you could set up your bedroom in your mind right now, if you could see the feng shui of how your living space is how your space is, that is spatial intelligence. You possess it. You just don't know you possess it. And that's something interesting to me. Like, everybody possesses a form of everything. They just don't know it.
Mm. It's about awareness.
It's about
Yeah.
awareness. Once you're aware of it, okay. Naturalist. Anybody who knows, like, you when you think of a naturalist, and this is just easy for me. If you think of a naturalist, you think of, a botanist or a zookeeper or a wildlife preserve. No, it's how you interact with living things, people, how you interact with babies, dogs, cats, literally anything that's alive. It's how you interact with it. Um, so it's not, don't think of it just like, in a literal sense, nature. No, think of it as just your environment. Like, your environment is natural. It's a nature. It's your nature.
And what I and as you were talking about relationships, I do want to touch on your relationship. I know you have several siblings, but currently you live with one in particular, one of your brothers. What can you tell me about your relationship with your brother Isaac?
Um, it's it, there's so much I could say, so many good things I can't say. And so it's hard to like put it into words, because you can think about it all you want, but it's when it's time to actually put it into words, you just words aren't enough. You feel me? Um, I would say my brother is like literally one of the greatest people ever. He is literally one of the greatest people. And even though I may make him mad, even though he may make me mad, I can never stay mad at him. Like, he is like he is truly someone special.
Hmm.
And if you ever get the chance to know my brother, you'll understand how special it is to know him. He's one of the only people I know who can talk to anybody. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. He got that portion from my mother. I didn't get that. I
Yeah.
don't like he's genuinely someone who can talk to anyone. And it baffles me, because I'll be like, hey, like this is, and he'll just talk to them like he's known them forever. I'm like, you just met this person like 2 minutes ago. What are we talking about? Um, and he he's a very it's very special. Um, and I'm thankful to the Lord to know to have him from as my brother. Like
Mhm.
very thankful.
And when I think about relationship, the concept or the word relationship, for me, the root word is relate. Um, how does how is how is your brother? Let me think about how I'm gonna try to say this. How does how does your brother how is how is Isaac's conduct as an individual relatable to yourself?
Um, that's my brother. He supports me. Like he like when no one supports me, when I started making content, when nobody was like, when nobody was following, my brother was always there. My brother was
Mhm,
always there. Isaac
mhm,
was literally like one of the first people to like my videos and say, just do it, just do it. Don't even think about it, just do it. He supports me. He's probably the biggest supporter of everything I do. So he relates in that way. He's always willing to go the extra mile for just my content. So that's probably one of the biggest things other than us literally being related.
yeah.
We relate through like games. I know I can talk to him about comics. He's like, whenever I'm unsure about something, I can talk to him. Like he's that support system.
Mhm. And that's valuable. I'm glad that you
Mhm.
have someone who is supportive of you. And for those who are unaware, there is a difference between being supportive and being enabling. Someone who is enabling would tell you you're doing the right things, even though they're aware that you're not. And someone who's supportive would be honest with you and makes express statements that are based in fact. So in hopes that if you are doing things that are detrimental to yourself, that their expressions to you would inspire you to want to change your ways and hopefully refine yourself. Is Isaac someone who is would you describe Isaac as someone in that regard in terms of being someone who was not going to enable you?
Oh yeah, no, 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 not at all. What? Not at all. I like there's I wouldn't enable myself. Isaac's definitely not going to enable me, and I'm thankful for that because even if I was a person to do quote unquote stupid things,
Yeah.
he's not going to let me do that. Like, and I'm grateful for that. Why would I like hearing how a lot of these people's siblings enable them and
Mm,
like it just they don't like they won't let them like they let them just do anything.
mm,
I'm grateful to not like have that liberty. Like there's stuff out here that I don't want to deal with. Like I made a post. I was talking about stuff. I recently seen like a lot of the people I grew up with. They just in situations that I didn't. I'm grateful to not be around because I had my brother who would take me to the movies. I had my mom who would take me to church and would buy me video games and take me to go buy video games and teach me how to drive. Um, I had my sister who would who would let me stay with her in California. I had like my dad who I could talk to about cars and sports and stuff. And I had my brother who would taught me football and stuff and taught me how to ride a bike. Stuff like that, you know?
mhm.
Um so and as the youngest of my family, like that's important. And I feel like that was I totally went on a tangent. Sorry. But yeah, it was. I'm glad he was part of the guiding process and not enabling me, because enabling, anybody can enable, but it takes a real person to guide you.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm fortunate to have people who I relate to who are supportive of me. And to be honest with you, I would not prefer to be in the in a culture of enablers, because I myself am wanting to be a transparent and person who is passionate about bettering themselves. And I feel like if you're telling me something that is not based in reality, then I might lose sight of what is truly happening in the present moment. And that could distract me from being a better person. So I'm thankful for the people who are supportive of me as well.
Kendrick Lamar has a song, and one of the lines of the song was "Stand for something or fall for anything." And
Hmm.
I often think of that, like, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. And
Hmm.
um, I feel like a lot of an enabler would be the reason you fall for anything.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. We're going to transition to the final phase of the Journey of Growth podcast, which would be the interpreting expression segment. So, for those who are unfamiliar of what this segment is, they're in the present moment, or in the present, I encounter quotes or statements that are relatable to my growth, and I like to present them on the podcast in hopes that the statement, as well as the interpretations of myself and the featured guests, could be a resource to the listeners as well as myself when it comes to the featured guests sharing their perspective or their interpretation of the quote. Um, so today's interpreting expressions quote is: the process of growth seems to involve initiation and reflection. Since you are the featured guest, Aaron, you can go first. And so my questions are: how would you interpret this quote, and how is it relatable to yourself?
So I actually earlier, before we actually started the podcast, I saw the quote and I was like, oh, this really relates back to Marvel Rivals. So I actually, and this is just something you can take anything, like anywhere with you.
Mm-hmm.
I would flip reflection and initiation,
Mm-hmm.
because it's always good to look at the past
Mm-hmm.
before you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because the past can be very telling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so reflect. Okay, if I want to get better at something, I have to realize I'm bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be great at everything. And that's just the truth. You're not going to be good at everything overnight. You're not going to be the best at whatever you set your mind to initially. What about it? It's okay to be bad. It's okay. Regardless of what anybody says, it's okay to be bad. But it's about how you look back at it. It's about, okay, why am I bad? What am I doing wrong? What needs to happen for me to do better? And that's where that initiation part steps in. Okay, if I were to if I were to do if I want to do better, what do I need to do? How can I change? What can I do? How can I grow? And as you learn what you need to do better, and as you make the effort to do better, that's when the growth will start.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how is this quote relatable to yourself?
It's applicable in everyday life. Um, as a person who would I would love to have millions of followers. I would love to be the next Kai Cenat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would. But I know it's like that's again 1 in a million chance opportunity.
Hmm.
I may never see that, and I'm fine with that. But how can I be the best me? How can I be the best time bomber? How can I be the best bomber? How can I be the best Aaron? It's about, for me, it's just what can I do better? How can I do better? And I can take that with me in my everyday life. How can I be the best IT professional I can? How can I be the best brother I can? How can I do that? What can I do to be better? And what have I done that was lacking? What I did this that was bad. Oh no, I told this person this, and in reality it was this. Okay, what can I do that's better? How can I initiate the process? Where can I take this that it will best serve not just me but the people around me? If that was the case, how can I grow?
Hmm. Yeah, I can relate to what you're saying. And my interpretation of this quote, I'll share briefly, but I do want to give a definition of what initiation is for those who may be unaware. The definition is the action of beginning something. And why is it important to take initiative? I read that when one takes initiative, that can be sensed as being desirable, or is, and also it demonstrates an esteemed characteristics and qualities. So from the outside looking in, when one takes an initiative, especially in regards to growing themselves, this can be observed by someone else. And if they sense intuitively that you are committed to bettering yourself, this can be appealing to you, especially in a mate, someone who could potentially be your partner. And I think alternatively, if you are conducting yourself in a detrimental way, you may you may predict that your behavior may be attractive or cute to someone, but internally they may be also of the same way. They may be a reflection of yourself, meaning that if you're partying and living a lifestyle that is not healthy for yourself, you may see someone on the surface as being living a life of a healthy lifestyle, but internally they are also chaotic, such as yourself. So if you're hoping to attract someone who is living a life of prosperity and being self motivated and self disciplined, it seems like that it would be a reflection of your or of your initiative to start that for yourself first. And I think what also results from taking the initiative can be self confidence. And I also read that confidence is built through experience, with each action, no matter how small, serving to strengthen it. So the more initiatives that you take, in theory, the more your self confidence will become enhanced. You had mentioned that your brother Isaac has a heightened degree of interpersonal intelligence, also known as people smart. And that could be due to the result of his willingness to engage with people that he doesn't know. And through that engagement and repetition of maintaining that pattern, he's also able to enhance his self confidence due to him taking the initiative. And that initiative of engagement could also attract reflections of him in terms of that initiative. So if I'm self confident and I'm taking an initiative to reach out and to talk to people, I might attract reflections of me who are also self-confident. And I think to have these type of people in my circle would be an ideal situation for me. But it seems that without me taking that initiative, I may not experience those reflections of that action, if that makes sense. Um, and so I think and taking the initiative, like you had said, can be incremental. It's just a matter of being aware of what opportunities are presented to you in the present moment, um, and having a willingness and boldness and courageousness to take that first step. Like you had said, when you were in Chicago, you were presented an opportunity to take a job, but that job was in a historically known crime ridden area. So at that point, you had a choice to make. And you decided to take the initiative. And as a result of that, you were able to also, as you had said, cultivate friendships with people that seem to reflect you as an individual. So, yeah, without the initiative, it seems like there could be no reflections. I also think about spiritually. When a person prays, the prayer is the initiative, and the reflection would be the blessing or the opportunity to um, transition out of the experience that one had prayed for in the first place. And so the reflections seem to be presented by God or the universe, but without the prayer, how would the God or the universe be aware of the of how they should engage with you if there is a relationship to be maintained and had between yourself and it? So that I think, um, yeah, this would be my interpretation of, and also if we're talking about growth, um, growth seems to require an opportunity as well. If there is no, if I'm a tree and I have no support system, would be the soil, which would also be representative symbolically of a reflection. How could I continue to expand and better myself without the soil to be presented or the opportunity to be presented? Um, and but ultimately, it's up to me to take the initiative to want to grow. The soil could be there, but if I'm not willing to extend my roots into the ground and be courageous and bold, then the soil would just exist by itself, and you know it would be of no resource to me. So it requires an engagement, which would be the initiative. How relatable is what I said for you, Aaron?
It's yeah, it's very relatable. I feel like anybody who heard that would be able to glean everything that you said.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, is there anything else I want to say? Um, I think that I think I'm pretty content with my interpretation. Yeah, and I appreciate you sticking around and uh, seemingly growing with me based on
Absolutely.
your willingness. And I appreciate everybody else for tuning in. And like I said, if you're open to being a guest and sharing how you're currently growing, the invitation is open. So we're going to start to wrap up. Aaron, what would your parting words be?
It's okay to be bad. It's not okay to stay bad.
Hmm.
Well, there's that, or slash growth is incremental, not exponential.
Hmm. I think my parting words would be, if it's possible to be unconditional in your growth, I would encourage you to do so, because it seems that the external world operates off of unconditionality. And if if the external world operates that way, it seems like it would be a benefit for us to emulate that at least to a small degree, and eventually, hopefully, we can be totally immersed in the unconditionality that the world provides us. And I think about air and the ground that we walk on. It seems like there is no conditions for us to experience it. And I know like we do work our 9 to 5s, but I think what helps me to stay grounded is if I'm presented an opportunity to act unconditionally, I think that is what helps me to stay tethered or connected to the world, the natural world. Like I went to an open mic the other night, and there was an elder gentleman who had told me that he had a lot of music on his phone, and he they were all in wave form. For those who are unfamiliar with a wave file is, it is it's a higher resolution song file, and they can be shared through email because of the size of it. They have to be compressed. They have to be shrunken down into a MP3 file. But he was unaware of how to convert his WAV files into a MP3 file. So he had mentioned to me that he was challenged with doing that, and I, as an individual, was aware of how to make these conversions. So I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to guide him and show him how to complete this process. And I could have asked him for money in exchange, which would have been a condition, but I was choosing to exercise my unconditionality, and because I feel like I don't, I'm not expecting anything from him. I'm just hoping that I can be a support to him as a fellow human being or a person, and this assistance can help him to grow as an individual through the guidance. So I was able to do that. I showed him how to do it, and the result of that was him saying like, thank you, I appreciate you showing me how to do this, and now I can do it for myself. So yeah, I would encourage everyone to, if you're going to grow, uh, discover ways of growing in an unconditional way. And I think the reflections of that is you experiencing unconditionality uh, as a result. And I think the unconditional experiences, like, or some people call it, get experiencing things for free. Who would you rather pay for things, or would you rather experience things for free? I personally would rather experience things for free.
Man.
So yeah, if you want to experience things for free, it seems like you gotta also take an initiative in doing things for free. if if it's not going to be of any harm to detriment to yourself.
Right.
All right. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in to the Journey of Growth, episode 35. I hope you tune in for the next episode, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of the evening. I appreciate you all. Good night.